Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday Club. And we're here to discuss something very interesting. This would be a conspiracy if it wasn't actually true. So many people were commenting on Hindenburg when they first burst on the scenes, and we just couldn't understand what the game was. But now, about a week from Trump's inauguration, Hindenburg has closed shop, and secondly, it has its name associated with some very, very devious practices which undermine the entire activist image that it has been cultivating around the world as an organization that does research into companies for questionable practices, for improper behavior in trading, etc., etc. But guess what the accusation on them is? It seems Anderson, the guy who runs Hindenburg Research, was in conversation, and there are documents to prove this, which have been submitted in a court in Ontario. This was a Canada-based company called Assam by a guy called run by a guy called Moise Kassam, and it seems that they've been in deep conversation in terms of the different companies that Hindenburg is investigating and how the reports on those companies should be drafted. So it's all really murky and dirty. And I'm just going to dive right into it and start with Suhel Seth. Suhel Seth, what do you make of this?
As I said on your program many months ago, that all short sellers are essential racketeers. Essentially, that's what their business is. Their business is to create turbulence. Their business is to drive share prices down and then sell. This they've been doing for ages. The problem with our country is that our media, parts of our media at least, and those so called woke liberals, which is again an oxymoron, are such rascals that they don't even understand what they are screaming and shouting about half the time. See, the problem in our country is people with limited knowledge behave as if they're Nobel laureates. And that's exactly what happened with the Hindenburg issue. If you remember, the Hindenburg issue came to light in January 2023. And everyone said, oh my God, Hindenburg, blah, blah, blah. What happened after that? The Supreme Court got involved, SEBI got involved, political parties obviously got involved. Rahul Gandhi, the genius of modern India, got involved. And what did they say? Oh, there's this Gochi, there's this, there's that. The point, Advaita, is that Hindenburg was pernicious at two levels. One is for their own profit. Two is there was and remains a clear anti-India stance and an anti-India agenda. How do you ruin countries? You ruin countries only in two ways. Either you ravage their territories or you ravage their economy. What did bin Laden do on 9/11? He hit New York, which is the heart of the economic activity of America. So he damaged America through damaging New York, which was the citadel and remains the citadel of the economic, in the economic realm. I believe that it is time for people, even in our country, the so-called commentators and members of parliament who wax eloquent on everything and anything, to recognize what the realities of modern day warfare are. Modern day warfare is not about territorial control, it's about economic control. Modern day warfare is not about damaging your country, it's about damaging your economy. And you damage your economy only when you have two things to do. One is if you want to get in, or two, you want someone you support to get in. It's very clear that China could well be behind this. I don't know. I'm not an expert on, what China is doing, but that's exactly what's happened. And you try and bring down a group. But the third point, which I will end with, is that the reality is not even that, Advaita. The reality is that sometimes the hatred for Narendra Modi has become so overpowering and overwhelming that you try and put pawns or put people or put situations up where you believe that, oh, by hurting those people or the economy or businesses, you will also hurt Narendra Modi.
But Suhail, do you think it was a lack of knowledge that these people who took this up with such fervor were actually exhibiting, or was it something more
No,
previous to that?
I call it vomit knowledge. you vomit everything that someone else is saying without actually assessing it for yourself. A. B. The Supreme Court of India is not some, fly by night regulator, oblique operator. They went into all the allegations and they said that there's no substantive case. Now, after the Supreme Court has gone into it, if then you raise issues, that says a lot about your faith in the system, which, by the way, last week has been pretty clearly emphasized that, we don't believe in the Indian state and that we are at war with the Indian state. The Indian state is not some vacuous body, it comprises institutions, of which one is the Supreme Court. So when you say that I don't care about the Indian state, then, by that logic, all Congress governments should tender their resignations. They should say, oh, since our leader doesn't believe in the Indian state, Rahul Gandhi should also resign as leader of opposition. But that's for another day.
Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi didn't believe in the Congress post-independence. So that's something that they should have thought about, and for good reason now, as it's turning out, when you can say idiotic things like that about the Indian state. But Sandip, again, coming to you, this do you think there's something more to this than what meets the eye? Because the people who came out in support of this Hindenburg report were ready to trash the Supreme Court, were saying things like it's compromised, it's working to the beats of the government, etc., etc. Now, is it just as simple as they were misled by this bunch of rogue short sellers?
I think that would be being more than charitable. I found Suhel uncharacteristically was, I think, slightly soft on these people. I don't think many of them were just simply vomiting. It was part of a greater plan. I can talk of certain individuals who may have found it convenient to get their few moments under the sun or, get famous. But when you have entire political party machinery working against it. Now they know actually they would have the wherewithal or the competence to realize what this is all about. It's not just somebody finding something convenient. You see the amount of money, airtime, everything invested by one party on the Hindenburg research and kind of giving it legitimacy in airtime is not funny. Secondly, you see the kind of timing of each of the releases, how they came at the points at which they made the reports public. And finally, the kind of, the tirade or the undermining they tried to do of Madhvi Puri Butch on the entire SEBI thing. Now, they were acting clearly beyond, so to dismiss them as a mere short seller, one of those rogues which operate in the international market, I think would be giving them a far too easy break. There is much more to it. And unfortunately, I don't know whether just like their dialogue with this particular the firm in Canada has come out, whether any such things will be revealed about the kind of connections they were maintaining with people in India or people in India were maintaining with them, that might reveal much more. So I don't think, it's a question of an isolated, if it was a question of an isolated short seller, these short sellers will come and go, etc. But this was much more diabolic. And they were there and they were working not only in tandem with people at maybe somebody's behest, the clear agenda, and they were therefore, they were not lone rangers. They were chosen to do a particular thing, and now that's why they have scooted so unceremoniously just a week
But
before
this is the
Trump's
thing, right,
entry.
Sandeep? Sandeep, this is the thing, right? They say this, a big noise is made. Adani loses billions, okay, from his business. Then the government looks really bad because they seem to be aiding this. Madhavi Book, I think that's how you pronounce her last name.
Butch.
It's
She
book.
goes through a, huh?
It's
Okay.
book, not butch.
Okay, Book or Butch.
Don't argue with me. It's book. Chalo, let's go
Sir,
ahead.
Dhawal and me have been
Just
friends
call
for
her
the last
Madhvi, yeah.
40.
Okay, and they go after Madhavi, a career professional for months and months and months. Now tell me this. Now they've already moved on to the next thing, right? All of this is breaking down. They've moved on to the next thing. And the bottom line is, can the government have a role in actually investigating links between these people and the short seller and this entire racket that was being run? Or is it now just that, oh, this happened, let's move on, we'll latch on to the next big story?
That's precisely what the government must do, but this government has been very, very tardy in that manner, in their follow through, in terms of, they have allowed so many such things to just be forgotten. And I only hope, because there are lots of other names and the entire economy, everything is involved, that they are not going to let this pass so easily.
Yeah, I think it's important because this damages the nation's economy. It damages its reputation. It damages its image in the world, and it just can't be something that happened yesterday. So it's time to look ahead. But
So
Pallavi,
yeah,
in
it's not
this,
only thing. It's not just Adani and Narendra Modi. That's the bigger point, because the common investors lost tons and tons of money. So
absolutely.
they owe it to the people of India. People should not say, "Okay, theek hai, Adani has gone or Narendra Modi." It is not a question of between the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Pallavi, lot of
He's
like
right.
we said,
It's Butch. He's right.
it's Butch. Okay.
But we've been 40 years friends and colleagues. So
No, no, but that's you can keep making mistakes. Tenure is not an excuse for
no,
making
no,
mistakes. I
boss,
agree.
we've been batchmates, the husband
Okay,
and me.
fine. Guys,
Okay, go
two
ahead.
old men haggling over a name, yeah, too much.
Speak for yourself,
Pallavi,
you ageist little.
Pallavi.
Okay, okay, I'll tell you what. First of all,
No, wait. Let me ask you about this question. Okay, Pallavi, there were a lot of politicians जिन्होंने रोटी अपनी सेकी इस पे, right? Got a lot of prime time, airtime, got a lot of image building, positioned themselves as real kind of rebels and forces for honesty. Now, where are they? Now, what happens?
okay, so the Congress issued a statement after this, and their statement is that we still don't see this as a clean sheet for the government. So I don't think the Congress is in a mood to take it, kind of keep quiet on this issue. But I don't think they are now going to get away by making a noise about it, because the entire base of it seems to have been lost. You're asking me about what the government is. Well, I reported it then also, when this entire issue was first raised, and there was this entire demand that there should be an investigation. And this is something which the opposition parties were insisting on. The government stand was very clear that we don't want to get into it. We don't have any investigation to do, and we're not going to do it. And whatever has to be done is being done, will be done. Now, having taken that position today, I don't think they're going to try and reverse it by saying, okay, now let's start the investigation. But every time now the opposition starts making a noise, or a Moa Moitro, for example, starts talking about attacking a corporate sector or something like that, I think this is what the government stand, and the BJP. I think this is where the BJP is going to step in more, is going to make the point, look, आप लोगों की तो हवा निकल गई. This was what you were raising an issue about. I don't think you need to be making a noise about it. And that's, it's not like the BJP is going to hold press conferences and say, look, we are going to start an investigation. Whenever they're going to feel the heat or any other issue, they're always going to hit back by saying, look, you created a noise about this. Parliament was stalled repeatedly. And now where do you stand? There's egg on your face. So I think when this budget session begins, and again the opposition wants to create hangama on some other issue, because there are important bills which are going to come up, that Waqf Board amendment bill is going to come up and all of that, and the budget, of course, and the Delhi elections, of course. So I think in some way the government is going to project itself, the BJP as a political party is going to project itself as someone who stands vindicated. Also, I have been told by government and BJP sources that please don't think that people are going to get away. I know they've been saying this very often. They're saying that, like revenge is a dish best had cold,
Best served cold.
best served
Served.
cold.
Yeah. When you use phrases, use them correctly.
Right, Suhel,
Best
I
had
correct
cold.
myself.
Okay, but Suhail, this is the point, right? It's all like the government, whatever Pallavi said, that the BJP stance on this as of now is that this will help us in our narrative war, and it'll help diminish any charges that come to us going forward. right? But is that enough? Because, like Sandeep pointed out, young investors, normal, ordinary Indians, were impacted by this kind of chicanery.
So the problem in India is we don't have robust laws to deal with this kind of nonsense. If I were a primary investor in, let's say, America, I could have taken people to the cleaners, including the government, because the money that has been lost by private individuals and, of course, the corporations. To then say, oh, but going forward, we will ignore the narrative. The question is not to ignore the narrative. The question is to say, use this narrative as an example to tell the world that this is what we are up against. We are not up against
Exactly.
regulations not being enforced. We are up against an agenda which is pernicious and focused only at bringing us down. That's what people should say. And you keep saying George Soros, George Soros. People are tired here. It's like what Indira Gandhi used to say, CIA hand. Forget all of that. You need a calibrated communication strategy which goes on to say why you're doing all of this. And you need to go to the same papers that have been supportive of them, whether it's the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the FT, and actually put forth your view. But the tragedy in India is when someone criticizes this government, the government says, Inko to chodo. They are against us. Are, how do you create allies out of people who you believe are your enemies? Because they're going to exist. And whether you like it or not, they are influencers. You may disregard the New York Times, but it's at your own peril. The point I'm making is that you're not Donald Trump who can say, I will not subscribe to the New York Times in the White House. Because you're not in that country. So how do you put forth your view across the world saying that we have been completely targeted time and again? This constantly being in denial for this government is also not good. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is now increasingly being perceived as a lack of action, Sandeep, when there is an ecosystem that is so well tuned, working together, suddenly you'll have some Hindenburg research come out with some paper targeting, somebody who's the biggest, the second richest man in the world, comes from India. Suddenly you'll have this so-called research. No one's heard of them before. Fair enough. They become the talking point, and they impact not only this person, but also the government, the ordinary investor, and most importantly, India's image as a best business destination abroad, because their entire ecosystem gets activated. This includes politicians, media, social media, and then it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy because they keep endorsing each other's point of view on this matter. And by the time the game is up, as it is today, it's already too late. The damage has been done. But the government wants to just look away and say, okay, we'll fight this out in the court of public opinion, which is just not good enough because these are international stories.
So, I think Pallavi was talking about government stand when this was happening. I think at that point in time, that was a prudent stand for the government to take. Okay, this is we don't want to take because they didn't got to get embroiled either on the SEBI issue or on Adani issue to be seen because of the that would have established that connection or nexus and put government on the back foot. But now that the things have come a full circle, the government can again find intelligent ways of skinning the cat by exposing the people who were using the Hindenburg report or reports like this in the past. And there are various ways to expose them or nail them. And when you're talking with the government, it need not be Modi or Amit Shah. There are also lots of MPs and various other people, individuals who can do that job. But it is absolutely essential to do because otherwise you're again waiting for another such thing to happen. It's not that because Trump has come today and America, it's a new order coming in, all these things will disappear tomorrow. The people who are having an anti-India agenda, everybody doesn't reside in America. As Suhel was mentioning, whether it could be China, or it could be any other country, they would be also playing the same games. These have become the neo world order in terms of how you wage war against countries, the narrative. So government has to have a thing, and this government has for far too long, I think, soft pedaled on many of these things. A lot of the actions they take, they don't carry it through its logical end. But I think it's time for them to now crack the whip. Because otherwise, to see these people, with the kind of impunity they act or talk, and even now, the kind of arrogance or what you see on various issues, how they tweet and take it up, uh, it's really irksome. And I think that has to be set right, because in no other country would allow this kind of, but this is ridiculous, the way things go. And it has to be for the sake of public, because public also has to know what is right, what is wrong. Because how do you blame the public? Whom do they believe? Do they believe us? Do they believe those MPs or XYZ journalists? Everybody having their own agenda. So I think that we have to, as if we are developing as a nation, if we want to be a serious economic power, as we say, then these are disciplines we have to put in place.
Yeah, I agree. Pallavi, Pallavi is here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Pallavi,
here, I'm listening.
please use your good offices to communicate what we are discussing on the show today, because I really think that this feedback has to go to the people who can make a difference. And like our two wise guests have said today, you can't just keep looking the other way. Tomorrow it'll be some nondescript white Caucasian American or English ratings agency or research agency who will again cast aspersions, and there'll be enough and more people here with sizable followings who will jump on that and spin that whole narrative because they want to attack the government. In some cases, may also be benefiting from it financially, and then it'll come to pass, and then we're back to square one.
Well, I mean, there are two things which I see it happening immediately. One, I think the Delhi elections are going to be used as a platform, and should the BJP win, I won't be too surprised if the Prime Minister makes the point, ki, look, these people keep on attacking us. They listen to one ecosystem, George Soros ho, yeah, Hindenburg ho. And I think that attack on Rahul Gandhi is also expected to come up at some point of time. I mean, mind you, the Prime Minister is going to start campaigning. 2, 3 campaigns is coming up in Delhi, and in case the BJP wins, he's going to say that in his victory speech. Second thing is, I think the budget. The budget is going to be very, very important, and the budget session, for that matter, is going to be very important. So we can't rule out the possibility of the government repeatedly making this whole the Hindenburg thing a big issue to hit out at the opposition. And this is, if the opposition has already big plans, they are going to get out the government. They are going to raise issues, plenty of issues they're going to talk about. This time around, they don't have a Hindenburg to talk about, something else they'll talk about. So I think the BJP will, politically speaking, say, aap log ye issue uchhalte ho, but look what happens. Plus an Indian state comment. Ye sab uthega. That's why this is a budget session. I
So
think is going
basically,
to be the
more of the
platform.
same is what we can expect from this particular situation. Suhel, one of
Yeah.
our speakers here, Rush666, is asking, it's not for the government to react to this, it's for Adani to react to this because he's the one who was defamed.
Why? Why? The defamation was not on Adani. The defamation was on the fact that the regulator had lost control and the fact that the regulations in India are porous. Please go back to what Hindenburg said. If you read the original report of Hindenburg, which was published in January 2023, its essential target was State Securities Exchange Board of India, was SEBI, where they said that SEBI has received complaints, SEBI has not done this, SEBI has not. The target was clearly SEBI. A, B, I'm a great believer. You don't respond to every barking dog. I think it was the chief financial officer of Adani and then Gautam Adani himself. In the initial time, they said they issued a statement. After that, why do you have to? People know.
Okay.
The more you issue, you're just baiting them. Let barking dogs lie. And in this case, they
All right.
actually lied.
They literally lied. Yeah. So anyway, moving on from this now. New Congress headquarters for a party that's saying it's always broke. They've kind of managed to
And they didn't
build
let
up.
us inside.
Yeah, that's
I
why,
thought they
Pallavi, I'm
called.
coming. Go ahead, Pallavi. What was
I
the
said,
scene? Why weren't you let in? For all your
no, none of
loyalty,
us
how
were
could
let
they do
in.
this to you?
Loyalty, yeah, clearly, but the media was left out. But chalo, theek hai. The party workers were left out. And I checked out this. So when the BJP opened its headquarters, they had separate enclosures where media sat, party workers were invited. The Prime Minister also had a lunch for all those who had helped in building the new BJP building. यहाँ पे तो lunch छोड़ो, nothing. So who were the ones who were sitting there? The coteries were there, the PCC chiefs, all those people were there. Party workers were not there. I personally think they should have invited Ahmed Patel's children. They should have called Motilal Vora because these two people micromanaged the building. They were also not invited. And there's enough space, huh? So because I saw it, I was peeping from the gate. So there's enough space that an enclosure could have been created. And now the Congress is just passing the buck. It was not our decision. It was so and so's decision. Uska decision tha. And
Who are they saying इसका decision था?
no, everyone is taking everyone else's name. जिसका जिससे नहीं बनता है वो बोल रहे क्या A saying if A is not getting along with B, then A is saying it's B का decision. B is not getting along with C, so they're saying C का decision. The fact is that the media was kept out, party workers were kept out, and there's a lot of hangama outside because obviously the party workers were upset.
So who was invited then? Who was on this guest
So
list?
the Gandhis were there, Kharge was there, all the general secretaries were there, state chief ministers were there, 3 of them, and the PCC chiefs and all that. That's it.
And you were peeping from the gate, Pallavi. That was demeaning. Why should you be peeping from the gate? Yeah, you're a senior journalist. You shouldn't be doing that.
I was doing my job, yeah. I was
that
just
your
peeping
job
from
is
the
not
gate
to.
to see.
Yeah,
Did they give you
one little peep? I did just one little peep.
Did they give you for the waiting media outside food boxes or something like that too?
What are you saying? They don't even let us. Why should we?
So
the next day, the media avoided.
Tell me, we are talking about a senior journalist. Is this the public discourse now? Oh, I wasn't invited. I didn't get a food box. I peeped in. I mean, is this what journalism has come to? You guys have been so used to hand-me-downs and handouts. I mean, is this what you guys have actually come to? You're discussing the Congress headquarters only from a personal angle.
No. I'm talking from the angle of the party workers.
I got this. Why should they give you a food box?
I never raised the food box issue.
Why should they?
But I didn't raise that issue.
Why should they give you a food box? Are you
that I agree with.
hungry? Are you starving? Every time we see you, you're eating in the car that you're moving in?
I agree.
This is why Modi has sorted them out. They're not invited on Air India One. They're not invited for lunches and dinners. There's no one buying them booze in Khan Market. Ab seedhe ho gaye na?
See, and therefore, Pallavi, if you're not invited, you shouldn't have gone there at all. Rather than go there and
Have you studied Marx? He said, I would never be a member of a club that would have me. You should have this phrase. I would never want to go to any place that would invite me. But you'll even go for the invitation. You'll even go for the opening of an envelope. I'm just joking, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not taking you seriously now, Suhel.
Yeah, that's what Mukesh Ambani told Rajiv Sardesai, in case you've forgotten. At least when you have to say something, be original.
But
so
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, Pallavi, aren't you all going to take a stand against them being the media? I mean, are you going to still cover them, or what's the? I mean, is the media fine to come together?
Let's be realistic. I mean, they are beat reporters. I don't go there every day, but they are beat reporters. They have their job to do, so they do. And to be very fair to them, the next day the beat reporters boycotted the press conference, which was to be held by the Congress. And then they also gave a letter. They submitted a letter with bullet points explaining why this should not have happened. So they apologized. And then yesterday, I think, they did a lunch there and a press conference. I didn't go for the lunch, by the way. But
And Sandip, you had some comments to make on the aesthetics and the design element, etc., etc.
I haven't seen the building. I've only seen photographs. And I have, from there. To me, it looked very hideous, the entire thing, because today you're doing something in this day and age. It should have had some contemporary sensibilities and touch. This looked to me like something taken from, as I said, an Anglo-Soviet era of the way our buildings were done in the post-independence thing. Yeah. Suhel.
Suhel.
Not that any architecture in India today is decent. We have no aesthetic sense. I hate to say this to you publicly, but I will. Our government buildings suck. Some of the private homes in Delhi, Bombay, wherever, they suck. We have no sense of architecture. We have no zoning laws. Look at what they do in Goa. You're building horrendous and hideous multi-storied buildings. So, why should you worry about the Congress headquarters? They will only go to the same pool of architects who, by the way, some I have a lot of respect for, but the others are all rascals. They have buggered India's landscape. Go down, you tell me, you compare North Block and South Block with anything that we've put together. Shastri Bhavan looks like a vertical slum. See the buildings that these media people have built for themselves. They look like bloody luxury tombstones. So it's shit, pardon the French. It is the worst. We have zero aesthetic sense. Look at what is happening with the Aga Khan Trust. They are redoing, they have redone Humayun's tomb and all that. Look at what's happening. See the way it has been restored. We have zero sense. We are marauders. Whatever we build like lawas. That's the
Listen,
problem.
but you went to the Republic studio, the new studio. I've been there. It's
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have respect for some architects.
Yeah. Who's the architect of the Republic studio?
Patel. I think it's Patel.
Okay.
I think it is. But you can see from the building what Arnab has done. Look at what Charles Correa used to do. These are great. Look at what Kubizia did to Chandigarh until we buggered that too. So we have an issue with, and now people say, oh, but why praise the British? Why praise the British? We have no bloody sense of architecture. Compare the old circuit houses to the ones that governments build now. Why? They have zero sense of architecture. You know why? Because it's all bloody L1, lowest tender. Lowest tender, you'll get the biggest duffer. Biggest duffer is equal to lowest tender. That's the correlation. You will get contractors who will buy steel. They won't build. You go to Jamshedpur and see the director's bungalow of Tata Steel. Masterpiece. Go to Puri and look at the BNR hotel, the Bengal Northern Railway Hotel in Puri. Stunning. And look at the Raj Bhavan in Calcutta. The Raj Bhavan in Calcutta, even today, is amongst the most remarkable buildings. Look at what the Taj did with restoring Falaknuma. So where there is a will, there is a way. But by and large, we build monstrosities because we build buildings to house people. We don't build buildings to help make people happy, both who are in the building and who are seeing the building.
But however, this isn't just so much an India thing, because Prince Charles, or now King Charles, has also commented on modern architecture. He's in England, and he said it's appalling. The exact words he used very strong words.
Yeah, but look at
so
Paris.
It's modern aesthetic,
No, but look at Paris. Now this is the correlation that Kala has started. Because London has shit architecture, so what must we? What kind of nonsense is this?
No, because you're Indians. You're
if you want to listen in Indian architecture, let me give it to you.
You're saying Indians, so I'm telling you, even King Charles has commented on this.
You have no idea. King Charles has commented, so therefore we must listen. Listen to this. You have no clue. Our climatic conditions made us believe in architecture that was unique.
I thought you were talking about the Indian state.
There was no air conditioning. The Angan was not only a place to meet, it was the way that cross ventilation and wind circulation happened. You have to understand. We are now creating, I will give you an example. People are putting marble in homes in Goa at such temperatures with such humidity. They are stupid. I mean, there is no dearth of idiots across the world. So don't say, oh, London has them, therefore we should have them. We already have. We don't need to revisit
my
London.
point was that this disappointment in modern architecture is something that exists around the world, it's not just in India.
Then why blame the Congress? Why
No,
say
no,
Indian
I have
so weird?
no comment on their building at all. This
Yeah,
was
but
Sandeep.
Sandeep Ghosh just said it reminds
But
him of Soviet
I think
architecture.
Sandeep was also discussing the Indian state comment of Rahul Gandhi.
That
No,
is the
you don't
next. Yeah.
listen. He's quite capable of speaking for himself. You don't have to be his patsy or someone who is now defending him just because he gives you one or two free meals at that too at the India International Center.
He
Why
didn't
don't
give
you
us
take him to
any
a
free
fancy
meal. We
restaurant?
took him out for dinner. Excuse me, Advaita paid.
Yeah. So
Oh,
how did we
one,
when
one,
I
sli- one slice of pizza, and that too. Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
I told you you
Well,
can
since
order.
you're
How
correct,
I
cheap
tell
we
you,
are,
guys,
Sandeep.
no,
Come on,
stop,
that's so unfair.
stop,
And
stop.
one slice
okay,
of
Okay.
pizza was very
He said,
expensive.
he said, I just want a little food because I'm going to go to a wedding. And since my youth, I've been going to a wedding to eat for free, and whether invited or uninvited. So I can't break that cycle. That was what it was.
right. Suhail, since you correct everybody, it's not Bengal Northern Railway, it was Bengal Nagpur Railway. That
Okay,
was
sorry.
DNR. Okay,
And it's
just
not
for the
Calcutta,
record.
it's Kolkata.
That is Calcutta
Bullshit.
for me. It's Kolkata for losers
People
like
like
you,
you.
young people.
It's Calcutta, it'll always be Calcutta. Hmm.
Let's move on. This whole Rahul Gandhi Indian state thing, I think he thought, seriously thought, he was making a very strong point and a very powerful point, but it spectacularly backfired. So we'll start with Sandeep. Let's keep it short so we can move on to the next topic.
It didn't backfire to the extent it could have because people gave him, I think, a lifeline by saying he was spouting George Soros' statement and kind of gave him some reprieve. And that's what Tavleen Singh also wrote today, saying that, this George Soros, had it been, so he, he always has been given a little bit of a reprieve in that. But this is ridiculous. And then people trying to explain that separately. As Suhail was saying, when you're talking of the Indian state, what are you talking about? And that has been one of the problems with Congress. Congress has been systematically undermining. I'm not even getting into what they did during UPA regime, Congress regime earlier. There are enough stories about how the NSE worked and all of those things. But even now, for the last 10 years, they have been systematically undermining every institution, including the armed forces, including the judiciary, whenever it suited them, election commission, the works. And I think that is a very, very dangerous trend and I think now, hopefully, I'm only hoping, one can only hope that with the change of guard in the US and wokeism really getting the short shift, there will be some rethink here because so far, what's been working in Rahul Gandhi's mind, people have told him like 2024 election, you have won. And he thinks 100 has been won. And if he does more of this, he's probably going to take the 100 up to 300 going forward. So he has been continuing on the same refrain. But now people should realize that no, that is not working. And somebody should be able to tell them that come back to basics, smell the coffee, talk of sense, have constructive opposition, criticism, etc. And this kind of, childish
Yeah.
angry middle-aged man or something of that kind doesn't work.
Yeah. But Pallavi, this is a little more than hyperbole. This is actually thoughtless. I don't know who's encouraging him to speak like this, what kind of closed door discussions he's having, wherein he thinks that it's going to be well received if he makes this revolutionary point that he's fighting not only this political party, but also the Indian state.
No, I don't think anyone writes his speech anymore. Now he pretty much says what he wants to say. And I can say this for a fact because there are many in the party who actually feel that, he shouldn't have said this, he shouldn't have said that, but he doesn't even listen to us. So now Rahul Gandhi decides what he's going to say. Most of the times they don't even know what he's going to say. I think in this context, he gave the speech, he started talking about caste census, he started talking about need for justice and so on and so forth. And in that, he started talking about state. I think what he wanted to talk and he should have spoken about was the fact that this is going to be a fight against the BJP government or the Modi government because that's what a political party is supposed to be about. But in that he went and started talking about India and we have to fight against the Indian state. It was very difficult because we did speak to some leaders who were coming out and they had to defend and what should have been the focus of Indira Bhavan and what could have been the focus on Rahul Gandhi's attack on the RSS, because mind you, he was responding to Mohan Bhagwat's comment, where Mohan Bhagwat had said ki asli azadi abhi aayi hai and all of that kind of stuff. So Rahul Gandhi could have kept the focus going. That could have been a big win for the Congress that day. Unfortunately for the Congress, Rahul Gandhi's that one Indian state comment just changed the narrative, which completely backfired and boomeranged on them. Even as we speak, in Assam, an FIR has been filed against Rahul Gandhi. There are going to be more such FIRs, and this is very, very, Suhel, this is very, very serious. I mean, the BJP is indicated.
I was the one who said it
we
on.
have to take very seriously.
Yeah. I said it on Times Now on the day it happened that
I don't watch you, you know.
Treason filed against him. Now, have you finished?
Yeah.
Well said.
Okay.
Pallavi.
Remember what Mark Twain said? He says, never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. That's what Rahul Gandhi is doing. Every time he opens his mouth, there is a certain level of stupidity. Now, whether that stupidity is self-contained, inspired from within, taught to him, I don't know. But I don't think, and I said it in his defense on that day, and I will say it again, to say he's not a patriot is silly. Enough stupid comments have been made by people across political parties, where they have technically, through language, attempted to wage war against your definition of the state. People have abused this Supreme Court, people have abused the courts, people have constantly abused the Election Commission. People have abused the President of India's office many a time. So my thing is, don't read too much into it. There'll be more stupidity to come, not only from Rahul, from other political parties and other political worthies. There are enough stupid people in our country. Remember, we are 1.4 billion people. Even if 1% are stupid, you can imagine the catastrophe that we have to deal with. So the best thing is to ignore them.
Otherwise, but Suhel, is it only stupidity? Because here you have somebody who goes abroad, badmouths the country, points out to a Sikh gentleman in audience and says that you are marginalized, you are not treated right in India. When you kind of marry all those things together, plus constantly questioning, undermining institutions, when you put all of that together, a sort of narrative emerges about this person's speech.
Narrative
goes beyond these kind of stupid comments,
you don't have to repeat.
But a way of thinking, at the very least, a way of thinking.
Yeah. Come to the point as a moderator.
This is the point, the way of thinking is like this.
Let me tell you what the issue is. Is Rahul Gandhi genuinely anti-Indian or anti-India? No, he's not. Why would he be? What is the reason? But he is desperately and vehemently full of bile, vitriol and hatred towards Narendra Modi, which also means the BJP, and has now been proven, includes the RSS. That is his narrative. The problem is he's unable to separate the government from the state, the political parties from the state, because he's now going ahead and saying that everything of the state is actually being controlled by the BJP and the RSS. Therefore, in his pretty little mind, the allegation that I'm going to wage war against the Indian state. But the Indian state is nothing but a composition of entities. So either you decide, if you want to wage war against the Election Commission, then don't stand for elections, or if you've won, then resign. If you don't believe in the Supreme Court of India, then don't go to court. Then you'll be arrested because you're out on bail. If you don't believe in the president's office, or you don't believe in the Lok Sabha, then don't be the leader of opposition. You cannot have it both ways. But the problem again, Advaita, is that no one in the BJP is able to articulate it the way I'm saying it right now. Their thing is he's anti-Indian. But it's not that point. The point is, if you say he's anti-Indian, he'll keep saying that, see, now they're fighting, they're testing my patriotism. And patriotism is often the last refuge of the scoundrel. Don't question his patriotism. If you have to question his intellect.
He questions Veer Savarkar's patriotism, who faced a lot more than he ever did,
Listen. Let's not, we don't have to suck up to any political party or any ideology.
But it's not about sucking up, but it's
a lot of people have raised questions about Savarkar. A lot of people raised questions about Ghose. So let's not, now just because there's another Mausam, you don't have to swing totally.
No, but
Every
Savarkar
single
and Godse
Indian
are two very
everyone
different
is
people.
entitled. One
I'm
minute.
offended. I
One
mean, you
minute.
can't even use them as
1
a
minute.
parallel.
Sir,
What's with
1
the
minute. This
equivocation?
is the only government which has a political party which has made dead people fight. Nehru versus Patel. See, Advaita, when you're moderating a discussion, you have to be neutral. You can't sell your soul. So understand this
That is
beautifully.
not
Now,
ever,
hear me.
that was never the premise
Everyone
of
in
this.
this
It's not
country
a news
hated,
channel.
everyone in this country hated Godse. Until now, you can't say anything about Godse. He's an assassin. What he did it
Yeah,
for is another
great.
matter. He's a murderer. A, B. There was a time when everyone loved Gandhi. Today, everyone hates Mahatma Gandhi. So, एक मैं आपको बात बोलूं. Indians are like
No
Romans.
one hates Mahatma Gandhi.
1 minute. A lot of people. Obviously, you're in a cave or in your car, and therefore you don't have signals. So
Arey
let me
bhaiya,
tell you what it is.
you're making extreme points.
I'm telling you what people are saying here. Why don't you see? The point is either you be popular or you be real on this program. My advice is
Sandeep,
be
तुम
real.
कुछ बोलो.
Let's face the elephant in the room. The problem is that we have taken it upon ourselves to abuse people who are not in favor and to be nice to people who are in favor. All I'm saying is everyone is entitled to a view. If Rahul Gandhi believes he needs to question Savarkar's patriotism, so be it. There are many people in the right wing who have questioned Mahatma Gandhi's patriotism. And they said what he did in Noakhali on the intervening nights of August 14 and 15 was not true. Mr. Idiot can say whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. I mean, I really don't care. See, this is it. This is what happens.
Oh, Mitra,
You allow
good
these
one.
jokers to now make 2 and 2. You will never hear the reality. See, this is it. Don't, I'm only telling you one thing. Don't sell your soul just because the narrative is different. Because then you will be doing your viewers an injustice. They
But
must
Suhel,
be proud.
I don't go on a rant against Pandit Nehru. Neither do I go rant against Veer
Achha,
Savarkar.
are
They
people
all
going
have
against
made
it?
their
Are people on a
contribution.
rant against Nehru?
But one can critique them. One can critique them because they were human beings at the end of
You
the day.
don't, 1 minute. Now
Talking
let me
about the
speak.
context.
You have not
We are talking about
understood.
the context of questioning
You have not understood
patriotism.
the point I'm
This
making.
guy,
Let me
this guy
remake the
questions
point. 1 minute.
patriotism.
I'm not
That was my
stuttering or
limited
stammering.
point.
I'll remake the point with great clarity just for intellectually innocent people like you. Everyone is entitled to a view as long as that view is that person's and does not impede or impinge on our beautifully valuable crafted institutions.
Okay.
Then there is hypocrisy. So I'm
So do you
saying
think?
if Rahul Gandhi is saying Indian state is what he wants to wage war against, that is the problem. Because
Yeah.
that is not only treasonous, it's anarchist. So
Now you're
address that
talking.
issue. No,
Now
address
you're
that
talking.
issue.
You were
No,
you were saying
he's
you were
taking
saying things
anti-Indian.
like
This is the point.
you.
Advaita, you don't allow me to speak. I'll shut up then. You
Oh
do go
no.
run the bloody program. I'm trying to tell you, address the issue that he's raising. Then your answer should be, if you don't believe in the Indian state, why don't you resign from the Lok Sabha? If your party doesn't believe in the Indian state, let all the Congress governments resign. But you have not said that. What have you said? You have gone for the low-hanging fruit, which is, oh, he's anti-Indian. That will never
I never
stick.
said that. I
I'm
never
talking
said
about
that.
how people are saying, yeah, now
Oh,
just because
okay.
No,
like
he's talking about the
in your
people.
brains, you're now coming
Achha.
again
No,
this way.
but Pallavi
Okay.
did say let them resign and stuff. Anyway, moving on
Uh,
from RG, since he's
no,
inflamed so much.
2 points. 2 points here, Advaita. One is, you see, I think Rahul Gandhi is speaking to some extent subliminally because that is what Congress exactly had done: infiltrate every institution in the country, the ecosystem as we call it, with their own set of people and their. Once upon a time, they talked about committed judiciary, committed bureaucracy, and the rest of it. So it was there. Now they're suddenly finding that that game is being overturned and BJP has been doing that. And that is where a lot of the angst comes in. And this bit about the Indian state, this is not the first time Rahul Gandhi has said it. He has been saying this on and off. It is from a fora like this time from a platform and that to the Congress headquarters on this day. I think that has been the faux pas on his part. And faux pas would be again giving him
So
an
here's the
easy
thing.
pass.
Why doesn't someone file, as Pallavi said, a case has been filed against him in Assam?
Yeah.
Mark my words, what will
FIR.
happen? 1 minute. FIR has been filed? Mark my words, what will happen? Instead of being seen as a genuine treasonous activity or statement, they will turn it into political vendetta, which they will. Then let the courts arrest, order his arrest. If any other human being would have said it under the new laws of treason, the guy would be behind bars. But the government will not do that. So what do you want people to say? He will go
So,
home crying that, boss, this is political vendetta. You saw what happened when he had to resign from the Lok Sabha. You saw what
so
happened.
that is stupid. But at the same time, Suhel, where I partly disagree, this esoteric argument about state versus this and that, to be for people to explain it to the lowest common denominator is difficult. So therefore, to say that no, he is being anti-India or something could be a political
No,
communication
you
that
just said
he
it
may
in
be doing.
simple forms. जिसने अच्छा एक बात है, did Akhilesh Yadav ever say this? No. Did Mamata Banerjee ever say this? They're responsible politicians. He is petulant and almost childlike in his petulance. But if you allow this to continue, and if you just keep calling him anti-India, you're not defining the narrative. I'm saying the time has now come to define the narrative. Say that how can this
Agree.
man abuse the institution which has elected him or which has allowed for his election? How is the man abusing an institution which has set him free on bail? Those are the points you need to say. But the tragedy is they won't have a bloody clue. These guys have no idea about how to communicate. And they've got people like advaitakala who are holding cudgels for them, who also have no idea. So it's the
So they have to have a
freaking
parallel channel narrative, which I agree, and that is where I think BJP's ecosystem at the higher level is still lacking. They cannot get those messages across, and partly because Advaita, they don't encourage people like us who are articulate, who can do it cogently and everything. We don't get any bhav from them. The people who
We
come
don't
to
get
speak
a seat at the table, so to speak.
My advice to the BJP is all the good that they have done, please start talking about that. That will put all this negative narrative in the backdrop. The tragedies, even that is not happening. Because what they're doing is they're firefighting on a daily basis. They are doing tactical warfare. You have to be strategic if you want to indulge in if you want long-term benefits. That's the problem.
Yeah. Pallavi, one more thing before we wrap up this show. I believe the Waqf board bill is going to come up in this session, and it's probably going
likely
to come.
to.
Yeah. What do you anticipate? What's the
I think
strategy?
it may, if it comes, it'll come before the Delhi elections, which is on 5th. Budget is on 1st, maybe 2nd or 3rd, they'll introduce it. No, I mean, they have had a parliamentary standing committee. I mean, of course, the dissenting noises will come in from the usual ones, TMC, Congress, but the government has a number, so if they want to get it cleared, it gets cleared. By the way, guys, before you end up, I have to give you this thing also. Rahul Gandhi has started from today what is called the white shirt movement, okay, which is the Congress's big campaign to bring justice in the country. So now that explains to you all why he
Why
keeps
don't
on
they
wearing a
also
white
get
shirt.
Surf or Tide or Nirma to endorse it? White shirt campaign. You talk about the red shirts. Remember, Sandip?
Yeah.
So what is the
And
white
it's
shirt?
true.
T-shirt पहनने का time नहीं है. White shirt campaign.
So I'll send you people it in the group.
No,
Basically,
don't
you
send
know,
me
he's been
anything.
wearing a
I'm not
white.
interested in any white shirt, black shirt. I'm very happy with what I have.
You're not even in the group, so you're not going to get it. Okay, so
Good.
I'm just saying that there is, he wears those white shirts. Okay, so the campaign is going to be about fighting for justice for people, and white is the color of justice. So all the people who are part of the campaign will be given white shirts. Party leaders will wear white, like Rahul Gandhi obviously wears a white t-shirt. So it's called the white shirt campaign. And let me tell you guys, I had broken this story 6 months back explaining why he wears white.
But politicians have been wearing white shirts all
T-shirt,
through.
T-shirt, white t-shirt.
T-shirt, bolo. The T-shirt may be a change, but otherwise,
No,
in
it's
South
called the
India,
white shirt campaign. It's called the white shirt campaign, but it's that white t-shirt why he wears is a part of the
yeah,
reason why he's
yeah.
been wearing that.
This is again
Wearing it for years.
this is again very derivative.
White shirt,
No.
white veshti, white whatever.
Okay, Suhel.
This is also
And in the
again
South,
one second, let me just come in. This is again very derivative, sorry to say, but this is looks like a total rip-off of the White Helmets campaign
You just Googled it, no?
yeah.
Brilliant.
And no, I didn't just Google it. I'm very aware of the White Helmets. They record everything they do. They were a setup, and they existed for a while, then conveniently vanished. And they were praised the world over for their acts. But there's a lot more to that story. So this just echoes that. But
right.
anyway.
I was
No,
telling
but I guess
Pallavi, down south, there is a cotton color. They call it the politician white. That is what all the South Indian
yeah,
politicians
the
wear.
crisp white
So
color.
yeah, and you go to these places, the Ramraj cotton, etc. They have that particular one. They call it the politician white. So
Yeah.
nothing original about this one. Again,
Political
Okay.
dhoti. It's called political dhoti. If you go on their website, it's called political dhoti.
All right, that's about it. And where's AIM? Professor was supposed to join. He didn't join.
Professor is taking a dubki, washing his sins. AIM has so many sins that he can't even wash. And last heard he's gone to Goa.
So Mahakumbh, who all are going? I know Suhel is going.
Suhel is going?
Yeah.
On the
Suhel is going.
16th of February.
Yeah.
What on earth for? Why? You'll take a dubki?
No, I'm going there so that I can see your wretched program on television and kill myself and get nirvana. Obviously, I'm going there for a dubki, you silly fellow. Oh, you're going for a dubki? No, I'm actually going to see how many public lights are working.
Come on. Not everyone who's going to Kumbh is going to take a dubki.
I'm going and I'm going to take a dubki. What about you, Sandip?
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
I want to go. I may go, but I'm not going to take a dubki. I'm not a dubki person.
I'm going to bet you won't.
No, I'll try and go. I want to go.
Because you've got elections and whatnot.
After 8, no? After 8.
Send Rahul Gandhi in a white t-shirt. She'll go scrambling after him over there and take a peep from one corner to another to see that they should not be allowed to go.
Incidentally, I think Akhilesh Yadav was very smart. He went there and he took a dubki and all. I think the Gandhi should go to the. I mean, that makes political sense. I mean, I'm told they are likely to go, but it'll be politically wrong if they don't turn up. Prime Minister is going, President will go, Vice President will go, everyone is going.
Who's going?
Prime Minister, Vice President, Cabinet Ministers. Yeah, she's supposed to go. And all these cabinet ministers have been going. There's going to be a cabinet meeting also in the Prayagraj, the UP cabinet.
Will it be in the river?
प्रयागराज में होगा, in the river में कौन सा डुबकी मारते? You remember Japan में हुआ था underwater cabinet meeting?
Not Japan, Maldives. See, this is her problem. Limited knowledge is
correct.
This is what I say. These are the freaking journalists we have to bloody deal with every day.
I can't believe
Maldives. Where is Japan? Oh, Japan.
We don't encourage this kind of commentary on the show, yeah. Look at this. This is. I don't know. Very bad, yeah. Pallavi?
I don't make the comment. Someone else just made that comment. How can I be held responsible? Yeah.
These are your paid followers. They're kind of giving you high TRP.
Okay, I have to go to bed. Anything else?
But
you're going to go to bed at 9?
I go to bed normally at 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 nowadays.
That's not true, but that's okay.
That's not true. You're partying till late into the night. We saw you dancing.
Not at all. I'm in Goa and I'm at home.
Pallavi, there is a Tokus candidate in Arkepuram. Are you going to campaign for them?
Only my brother Abhijit comes along with me.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back this week if there's anything interesting else. And by the way, we didn't discuss the Saif Ali Khan situation, but
let's do one on Saif Ali Khan tomorrow.
Okay. We'll come back. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.